Chris Maholka here, friends. I'm going to show you how to tie my Maholka smallmouth copper bugger. And I'm going to start with some copper thread and just run to the back. This is a Daiichi 1530 wet fly hook, size 8. Using copper thread, we've got a copper size 1/8 bead on there. I'm going to take some matching copper marabou here and just strip off a little of that for the tail. Match the back ends up. Got on the front ends and kind of break them off to even them up a little bit. Go out about the size, the length of the body for the tail. I'm going to cut that off, spin my thread counterclockwise so it'll go up over the marabou. Cinch that in place, wrap it down. I'm going to put some copper crystal flash in. I've got 4 strands. I'm going to lay the closest side to me first, wrap over it. Then I'm going to take the other side toward you and wrap over it so it lays kind of down the side. Then I cut it to length, just slightly longer than the marabou in the tail. The body is very simple. It's just a spun dubbing loop of Flashabou dubbing in the copper. So I made my dubbing loop there. Run the thread back up to the front. Got my copper Flashabou dubbing. I'm going to take some out, wad of it out. I'm going to put it in the palm of my hand and roll it so it comes out as a noodle. Once it's rolled, it looks like that. Just going to take this noodle, put it in my dubbing loop, catch the front end of it and the back end of it, and I'm going to spin it. Whoop, drop the back end out there. One more time, put that back end back in there. And spin it so it wraps around and around and around the thread. My hackle pliers so I don't lose it, untwist it all. Start at the back, right up against the marabou. You want to make sure it's twisted nice and tight because these will get rougher as you fish them and the fish chew on them a bit. They're pretty durable. They stay together pretty much forever. About the only time you ever have one come apart is when you finally get one that the fish gets to the thread and cuts the thread. Just gonna go around once, twice behind the bead and a couple times in front. Clip the remaining thread from my dubbing loop off and pull that material back. A couple half hitches in there. And if we put a little bit of glue on that behind the head or behind the bead, that would finish the fly off. And you want to rough it up. If you get anything really long, you can go and do a little barber work on it, but you want that to be really mobile and sparkly as it sinks. And you'll see on my video fishing for smallmouth, sight fishing for smallmouth in the Umpqua River, that this is pretty much the pattern I use for bluegill and smallmouth as well. Does a great job. I don't put too much more weight on it other than the bead on the front because that causes it to sink slowly. I like to fish it on 4 to 6 pound fluorocarbon leader so it sinks slowly so the fish can watch it as it comes down. If you're fishing water over about 6 or 8 feet deep, you might want to add either a tungsten bead rather than a brass bead, or a little bit of body weight on the front part of the body to make it sink faster so it gets down to the fish, especially if you're drifting along in a boat. So that's the finished fly.